limited all week in practice, but says if it was up to him, he'd play on Sunday night as well.
Well, you can always count on the Patriots to keep us guessing in the injury department. And for these two guys to keep things interesting on the field. Rodgers and Brady both playing well this season in spite of the rotating cast of characters around them. Edelman's suspension and injuries to both teams impacting these numbers to a degree. And I'm curious about the ways in which another personnel change could impact this game. Brady going up against a Packers secondary, Willie McGinnis, that will not have Clinton Dix. He was traded to Washington on Tuesday. What does that mean for the Packers D?
It means Tramon Williams at cornerback will probably have to go to safety or Josh Jackson, which means Tramon Williams at 12 years has more experience than the entire secondary put together. So when you see the blitz packages and the certain things that they like to do that Mike Patton did against other teams, they go after the quarterbacks, but they have mishaps. In the second half, they did not make adjustments. Guys got lost in coverage. They had mental breakdowns. And when you got a good offensive coordinator like Sean McVay or Josh McDaniels that they're going against this week, they find holes, they find mismatches, and they find gaps.
How about the Patriots D? How do they match up against this Packers O?
I would say for the Patriots, I know being in that defensive meeting room, the coaches are saying, do not give up the big plays. We got to keep Aaron Rodgers within the pocket. He makes it big plays when he's elusive. Don't give it up to Adams. Don't give it up to Allison. Make Jimmy Graham have a big day. Make Jones have a big day. You got to figure out how to slow him down. I don't think you stop Aaron Rodgers, but when you got opportunities to stop him, like you see here against Kansas City, 4 times inside the 25-yard line, they held him to 3 field goals and 1 interception before the half. You got to get key turnovers. You got to limit them to field goals versus touchdowns, and you got to figure out how to keep Aaron Rodgers in the pocket, not out there making those big, impactful plays.
Adams had a big game in this one last time, 4 years ago, his rookie season, over 100 yards receiving. J.K. Scott and Ryan Allen, 2 names worth watching for in this one. They're the punters. The guys both teams fans will be hoping not to see on Sunday. Speaking of punters, the 2 most underworked guys in the entire NFL are going to be in this game in New Orleans on Sunday. Johnny Hekker and Thomas Morstead. Guys like Todd Gurley doing a great job keeping them off the field. Gurley leading the field with 15 scrimmage touchdowns through 8. The Rams defense not so shabby either, and the rich got richer this week. Steve Leitch with more on that from Thousand Oaks.
Well, the Rams traded for pass rusher Dante Fowler on Tuesday, and on Sunday, the Rams plan to use him. They don't know how much yet, in part because, as Fowler told me, he's still learning the playbook and the scheme. Besides that, he's transitioning from a 4-3 defensive end to a 3-4 outside linebacker. Here's head coach Sean McVay on how they could deploy him against the Saints.
You know, we always want to make sure that we're putting guys in positions that they feel comfortable. And as he gets more and more comfortable, you know, he's a pretty rare athlete. So I think he'll be a quick study in terms of some of the things that we'll ask him to do, Steve. But what that is, it'll kind of be by design, you know, week in and week out. And then, you know, we're looking forward to him just progressing as he gets more experience with us.
The Rams also will be getting back wide receiver Cooper Kupp, who's been out with a knee injury. Now, Kupp is expected to return to the starting lineup. Josh Reynolds has stepped up in Kupp's absence, but with head coach Sean McVay not substituting very much, Reynolds could be diminished, although he does give the creative McVay another option.
Thank you, Steve White. And to say this Rams-Saints matchup is going to be high-octane, well, that would be a vast understatement. Take a look at the numbers. Sunday's combatants trading off, being ranked first and second in most major offensive categories, all the ones that matter at least. 60 minutes, 2 teams entering, 1 leaving as the victor. So now I ask our Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, when it comes to keys to victory for the Saints to hand the Rams their first loss of the season, what is it?
All right. Drew Brees. Where's my quarterback? My Boilermaker.
Okay.
Hey, listen, we know about Thomas. But you got to use your running backs. You got to use Kamara. You got to use Ingram. You got to use Watson in the slot. The Rams defense is allowing 110 passer rating from the slot position. So use those guys. We know about Thomas. We know you love him. But use those guys, and then you can play well against this defense. Now, we know one thing. When you want to win against a good defense, there's a guy named Aaron Donald. Now, I just want everybody to understand something. Aaron Donald has 10 sacks. He's a 3 technique. That means he's in the middle of the field. He has 10 sacks right now. He's only had 11 in his whole career. That's like his max in 1 year.
Sure.
He's doing something that we have not seen in a long, long time. So if he gets 20, he should be league MVP because this guy cannot be blocked. He takes double teams, single teams. He's getting to the quarterbacks. He's making these grown men look like little bitty kids.
Yeah.
So block him first.
70% of the time he draws that double team, and like Brian Fantana said, 70% of the time it works all the time. Now let's move things along and take a look at that AFC playoff picture. If it concluded today, that's the season. Here's how things would finally shake out. 1 through 4 looking like chalk. Sorry about that, Jacksonville Jaguars fans. Bolts and Bengals, of course, grabbing the 2 wild card spots, but they are just ifs, so there's plenty of football left to be played. And 1 o'clock Eastern Sunday, it'll be like Lubbock or Norman, Oklahoma, Pat Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. These cats squaring off, Chiefs, Browns. And you take a look at the numbers, the only thing you can compare, interceptions, deadlocks, 6 each from there, all Mahomes all day. So how can the distracted Browns team stop Mr. Mahomes? Let's check in with Tom Pelissero. He has more from Berea, Ohio.
A tumultuous week for the Browns ends Sunday with the high-flying Chiefs in town. And safety Jabril Peppers says this Cleveland defense is up to the challenge. With all those weapons surrounding MVP candidate Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, Peppers said, trust your eyes, see a little to see a lot, and make tackles in space is going to be the name of the game. Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield will try to keep pace with help from a new head coach and a new play caller, though Browns players say there's been no major overhaul to their offensive scheme. Receiver Antonio Callaway is questionable for this game after rolling an ankle in practice on Thursday. Also questionable, receiver Rashard Higgins, who told me his knee responded well to the week of practice. I'm going, Higgins said, 100%. Hugh Jackson has been on a mini media tour since his Monday firing, but interim coach Greg Williams said he's not privy to what Jackson has said. The message here, according to Williams, we have to control today.
Injury reports came out today, and Khalil Mack is listed as questionable on it. The Bears linebacker missed last week's game with an ankle injury. Melvin Gordon missed the Chargers' last game 2 weeks ago and is questionable for this week's game as well, though he did practice fully today, as did Alex Collins. For Baltimore, who is also questionable, Minnesota is a MASH unit right now. Stephon Diggs questionable, but he says that he is absolutely going to play. Anthony Barr, one of 3 players ruled out. Stephon Diggs is one of 5 players listed as questionable. You know all of their names, including Dalvin Cook, who's missed the last 4 games with a hamstring injury. What are you hearing about him, Ian Rappaport?
Well, Stephon Diggs has said he is going to play, but Dalvin Cook kind of left it open. But here's my understanding. He is trending the right way to finally be on the field after a month away, after a couple different false starts, when we all thought he was going to finally play this hamstring strain he has been battling. I'm told in practice today, he looked very good, and so that continues to put him on the cusp of finally getting back. And obviously, for the Vikings, if this continues this way, this would be a big boost for their offense. Another player we got some news on today was Ryan Tannehill, the Dolphins starting quarterback. Of course, he is out Sunday, as he has been the last couple of Sundays, but the Dolphins did say finally what is ailing his right shoulder. It is a capsule injury, essentially the membrane in his shoulder, which is causing him a lot of pain. He has been throwing some, but not in front of the media, just with trainers. He is going to be out this week, probably out next week as well. No telling when Ryan Tannehill is going to be back, although they do believe he's going to play this season.
So Brock Osweiler starting again this week. I guess that makes it Brovember?
No, it doesn't. Nope.
Thanks, Ian.